Hi friends, welcome to this video. We're going to talk about the life of a web developer today. Security edition. So, you probably tuned to this video because you are writing web pages, you are developing web pages in some way, and we're going to talk about the issues, the problems, the life of a web developer. So we're going to divide this into two different kinds of web developers. First of all, we're going to call it the CMS guys. Okay, and we're gonna call them the vanilla guys, right? So, I'm gonna draw a fine line here in the sand and say the CMS guys do have a different life compared to the vanilla guys. Let's start talking about what I mean with the CMS guys. Content management systems. We have WordPress, we have Drupal, we have Embrago, we have SweetRise, we have all different kind of CMS systems. You know, the list is kind of endless, but we all know WordPress, we probably all know Drupal, we probably all heard about Embrago at some point in time, but you know, I'm gonna stick to WordPress for now because it's easier for me to talk about, because I know WordPress quite okay, quite well. I know the difficulties on WordPress, and it's gonna be around the same compared to any CMS you're using. Only sometimes the tone of it shifts in a certain direction, that some CMS do have a higher vulnerability rate in some parts of the CMS, on the plugin part, the third-party general implementation idea, and so on. Now, the web developer CMS guys, right? They do have a life that you meet into the job in the morning, you do your CMS stuff, you write your modules, you edit your modules, you install plugins. Maybe you just use Elementor, for example. I'm nothing against CMS at all. I do also in my spare time help a few people with their WordPress websites, and they're all using Elementor these days. I understand why they use Elementor, because it's so easy to install, so easy to use. It's kind of foolproof in a way, because you can just click and pick some topics on it, you know, insert some elements, some, you know, flowing buttons with stuff, and you get all these kind of different integrated things going. It's very heavy, you know, but it kind of works. It's okay. I have nothing against it. I would probably use it, just, you know, I would probably also recommend it, because why not? So what's the problem, you know, security edition? What is the actual problem by using all these plugins and CMS systems and so on? Okay, so the problem is, let me just first describe the good part. It's easy to develop. Everyone can do it. You do not need any amount of deep technical knowledge about IT to do these kind of things, because they are so created to the fact that you can basically be an IT twat, and then you can create these kind of systems. And wow, okay, so the problem now occurs that no one understands the implications of not updating the plugins, not reading the articles on the internet of the actual vulnerabilities that there are for these kind of different plugins, websites, and so on. That is more or less a technical person's responsibility, but no one want to be the technical person anymore. Everyone just want to push their buttons and be like Mr. Super Guy, and boom, we're gonna do it. Okay, so that's fine. Still, we have a lot of problems, and I see that with my you can call them current clients. I do help a few people, and the problem every time occurs whenever there is a new plugin or an update to it, you know, or you got a deprecated plugin, but you need that functionality, you need that spice that particular plugin is giving you. So what you're gonna do? Well, you're gonna stick to that plugin and say, you know, I'm gonna stick to it, use it, and no one really gonna, you know, do anything about it. So I'm just saying that there are a lot of issues using CMS systems, and I'm just it's a difficult thing to explain, because WordPress is, to my understanding, still the most used CMS system in the whole world, right? It's also the system with the most vulnerabilities in. Of course it is, because when it is that much exposed, well, then there's also gonna follow that many vulnerabilities, right? So it kind of go hand in hand. So you gotta look at like how many. So if you have 100 WordPress installations, you got like 20 vulnerabilities. This is just numbers I'm stating right now. So if you have 100 Drupal installations, how many vulnerabilities you have? You have to scale it and look at the actual comparative data and say how many vulnerabilities are there compared to the other one, not relative to each other, but you have to do like in some sort of correct data analysis, absolute, comparison state model. It's a difficult thing to explain, but anyways, there are many things with the CMS systems. I have a lot of questions from end users saying how can we better make our CMS system secure and so on. You can install another plugin. Now, is the solution to install another plugin, right? Is it? Do you need to install another plugin in order to be safe in a CMS system? I would say the answer is no, because when you install a new plugin, you install some new software, and that software is essentially gonna bring on more input, and that could further even bring on another vulnerability and more dangers to the website. So what is the actual course of action to remove some of the vulnerabilities in a CMS system? Well, there are not a good solution, because what you have is a system that is constructed in a certain way, in a kind of advanced certain way, to function as an extension, abstraction layer extension to people with no IT knowledge, to be able to click with the mouse, hit the keyboard and be like, I know nothing what I'm doing, I'm just an IT twat. And that is the problem. So I'm kind of, it's a difficult thing to for me to talk about, because CMS systems are really, really great, but they also bring many difficulties to the table. So I think I'm gonna say that we talked about the CMS problem right now. I'm gonna end that, and let's go straight towards the vanilla guys. So what is the security implications there? Like, you are a vanilla guy. You write code in a language, right? You do actually write code. You don't click on buttons with a mouse, and you're not an IT twat. You're probably an IT professional, right? And you understand the fact that you need to write some code in order to get some functionality, so you can create the website with different kind of login functionalities and session handling, and you can do your routing and your data manipulation and juggling of that, and fetching data from a database and putting it to the view, showing to the user, these kind of things. Okay, what is the problem now? Well, first of all, you have full control, so that's really nice. You have full control of what you do. You have access to every single line of code. You know what you're doing, I hope. But do you know OWASP? Do you know the Open Web Application Security Project? Do you follow the top 10 rules and apply them, all of them? And do you also research to an extent what is top 11, 12, what is 13, 15? Do you have any knowledge in the area of how to create a good and well enough session handler? Or will you just download a plugin? Or some code base, library? When you're doing vanilla development, you call it libraries, right? In CMS systems, you call it plugins. It's the same thing. It's just some code you take, you import it to your system, and you run it. So you run code other people wrote. It doesn't sound safe to me. The correct course of action, what I learned when I took my very first education, was you do not run code other people been writing before you verified that code. You've read it all, you checked it. Does it work the way you want it to work? Did they actually implement the security part that you need for your system in order to function in an optimal and security stable level, right? Do they do that? Did they do that? And then no one do that anymore, because people focus on develop, write code, develop, execute, ship, sell. That's the words they focus on, and I understand. That's also part of the world, but you don't do security. I educate people, a lot of people. I educate, on ongoing education level, software developers. I talk to many of them. Many of them don't know enough to my degree of understanding of how much security is needed. They don't know enough. So electives are created and they do get that. But in order to be a good developer these days, security needs to be a part of the whole education, not a quick fix or an elective in the end of an education. And the same thing goes with if you're taking for going back to the CMS guys, most of the time it is multimedia designers or web developers educated as that title without too much technical knowledge. Compare that to the vanilla guys, it's more like software developers in a way, engineers, software engineers, stuff like that, programmers, whatever title could be. So there's a shift in between. So by CMS, you click, you install, you make things tie together. It's a great thing to do it. Many programmers cannot do that because it requires a different kind of way to think. And otherwise, you can also not say that a CMS guy can do what a vanilla guy does because they don't understand code the same way. So we have problems in both ends. So how can we fix that? It's a big problem because it doesn't seem like where you do that. We have the OWASP top 10, and we talk about the very first issue is broken access control, and we kind of fixed the XSS, the cross-site scripting. We fixed the injection part by making our browsers more aware of you cannot do cross request. We should also verify the URL by building URL encoders and building cross-site script mitigation techniques and so on. But what about access control, right? What about cryptographic failure? What about design stuff? What about the input to the actual system? What about session handling? What about broken authentication, broken access control? All these kind of things, and you don't see those kind of things in the same level as you do on the vanilla guys because they need to create it from the bottom. And that's where we have the problem. If you don't learn how to code these things from the start of, it's going to be difficult. So, bringing this video to a conclusion, we talked about CMS guys and the other guys, and this is the life of a web developer. Depending on you are the other side, one of the sides, right? Then you have these kind of problems, and there are no good solutions to it. The only solution there is to keep learning, take some courses, do electives, make sure to embrace all different kind of things and knowledge areas in your education when you're taking education, especially about security, because this is the whole foundation of a company is that it works, it runs, right? And if it doesn't run, it doesn't work, well then you have no business, right? So please do what I think about what I said, right? And I'm just trying to reach out, and talk about it. And I know that there are many different kind of people in the world that have different opinions, and the world as it is right now is very opinionated. I just made that word up, I guess. Basically what I mean with opinionated is that many people, they feel things that are entitled to be in the society. They feel that they're not getting hacked. They feel that they should not do that, and I say BS, ridiculous, no feelings have place in IT. IT is a cold, hard computer thing. It shouldn't be felt or anything like that, Stick to the facts, be the right guy, pick the right choice, that's what I say. If any questions to what I'm talking about, leave a comment below. I'm gonna get back to you as fast as I can, and basically, I think that's it for this video. I want to say have a really nice day. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something. See you again online.